What is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Sunday, January 8th slate of NBA action, man. I'm super excited to dive into it. We do have a really good slate of NBA going on today. We have a lot of games on, some pretty good matchups, some not necessarily as great, and that's just the way that the NBA goes. Some of them are always good, some of them are always bad, just kind of the way it goes. But I am super excited to dive into it. Before I did just want to go ahead and say that we are still currently on the road to 11,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. Had another winning day. I mean, this is great because, as I'm sure most of you guys know, we went on a little bit of a cold stretch here. So now that we are picking it up and that we're starting to get hot again, that's perfect to me. That makes me really happy. So hopefully we can have another winning day here. Currently, I do have 3 plays. I am looking to add some though. So if you guys have any plays that you really like, make sure to drop them in the comment section down below. If I end up tailing any of them, I will go ahead and give you guys credit, of course, if I end up making an official play. But regardless, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap. So we did end up having our kill shot play of the day. Sabonis over 35.5 points plus rebounds versus the Lakers. Minus 105. This one did end up working out for us. It was definitely sketchy, definitely scary. He got into foul trouble. There was just about everything that could potentially go wrong with this bet did. But at the very end of the game, with like 5 minutes left, I think he ends up making a layup and grabbing a rebound to be able to put him right at 37 points plus rebounds, then ends up fouling out of the game. So really, really glad that it ended up working out the way that it did, and that it ended up hitting before he ends up getting taken out for the rest of the game. Then we did end up having Lauri Markkanen over 27.5 points versus my Chicago Bulls at minus 105, and it wouldn't be a sweat for a Lauri Markkanen bet if it didn't come down to the wire. But he did end up hitting his over for us, and man, Lauri Markkanen does it again. Lauri Markkanen is that guy, man. He is Lauri Markkanen. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, because holy, welcome to the King's throne, because this is absolutely insane. Lauri Markkanen. We have been on the right side of Lauri Markkanen for like weeks now. He has been absolutely crushing it for us. So that one ended up working out for us as well. And then we did have our one loss of the day. I mentioned it as a heavy lean as of yesterday, and I said that if it was anywhere under 9.5, I said to take it. And this was one that I had Draymond Green over 7.5 rebounds versus Orlando. I said if it was anything below 9.5 to play it, so I just kind of felt like it was my due diligence to make that an official play once the line officially did end up coming out. He ends up grabbing 5 rebounds for the first 3 quarters, but then after that, he just, like I was watching that game, he did not want to be out on the floor in the 4th quarter. He was standing around, he was watching, and while the team was just kind of getting absolutely manhandled, he did nothing about it. He was just out there. So, ends up finishing right at 5 rebounds. Doesn't end up getting to the 8 that we needed him to. The opportunity was there. He just didn't end up pulling through for us. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. We had 2 in one day yesterday, 2 in one day the day before that. Let's go ahead and get a clean sweep today. So without any further ado, let's dive into it. For our first official play of the day, our King's Kill Shot play of the day, we're going with Jordan Clarkson, under 21.5 points here versus Memphis at minus 113 odds. Now, I like this for a couple different reasons. He has gone under in 2 straight games, and I think that he does end up making it 3 straight here once again. Obviously, he did play yesterday versus my Chicago Bulls, and he's going to have to travel from Chicago to Memphis, which is not a very far, drive or flight or however they end up doing it. So it's not crazy, but at the same time, it's a tough matchup. So he is going from Chicago over to Memphis, where Memphis is first in defensive efficiency, the best defensive efficiency in all of basketball. And they're not only first there, or just in general, they're also first in defensive efficiency at home, which is where they absolutely thrive. They also allow the third fewest points per game to opposing teams. at home, and they allow 9 fewer points per game at home than they do on the road. They're a lockdown team here at home, and I don't think that is going to change here for this Utah offense. He has also gone under in 4 out of his last 5 games here versus Memphis, so he has been pretty good to this line here versus Memphis recently, and he's played a total of 9 games in Utah versus the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's gone under in 6 of them. It just kind of seems like this Utah Jazz team is starting to get the rotation of some of the younger players, really trying to get them in there and get some of the things going, like Abaji out of Kansas. He's been really good so far, and I think that he is only going to get better, and I think that he may take some of those minutes away from a guy like Jordan Clarkson. We have seen we've seen a little bit of regression where he has gone under in 2 straight games, and I truthfully just think that he gets the 3 straight. I know that he's probably going to finish right around this number. He's really great at finishing at 21 or 22, but I'm still willing to lay a little bit of juice here. I think it's a really good spot, so we're going to be riding with it for our first official play of the day, kill shot play of the day. Jordan Clarkson under 21.5 points here versus Memphis at minus 113 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're going to be taking Tyrese Halliburton over 31.5 points plus assists versus Charlotte at minus 120 odds. Now I love this play. I absolutely love this play. It was between this one and the Clarkson one for the kill shot play of the day, but I like this one too. He has gone under in 3 straight, but in those 3 straight games have been against pretty good defensive teams, against Portland, Philadelphia, and Toronto, both teams that are in top 12 when it comes to points allowed. They've been very good defenses overall. But before that, he ended up covering in 3 straight as well. So he's been very, very solid to this line over his last 6 games. He's 3-3. So, it is what it is. But I think that this is a pretty good spot because Charlotte, they do allow the 4th most points per game to opposing point guards and the 2nd most points per game to point guards in the last 7 games. So not only do they give up a lot of points in general, but in the last 7 games they've given up even more. So I do think that it's a really good spot, and they do, and Charlotte does allow the 3rd most points per game to opposing teams in general. This defense is not one that is going to lock really anything up, and Tyrese Halliburton is going to see plenty of opportunities versus the Charlotte offense. Also, Charlotte is 25th in defensive efficiency, definitely closer to the bottom when it comes to defensive efficiency, and he has played a total of 21 games at home this year. This game is going to be in Indiana, and he's hit in 13 of them. So that speaks a lot of volume to me. I think that he can hit this line once again. The over-under is set to 241.5, which is wild to me. That's an insanely high over-under, but I do think it's a really good spot too. I think that even if I were to be taking a over on this game, like an over-under, I would honestly lean the I would honestly lean the over. So I do think it's a good spot. And another one, Tyrese Halliburton did tweet something about how he's going to retire the headband, something about how it's like too small, or I don't remember exactly what it is, but may not come back with the headband, and it may make him a new man. So let's go ahead and hope that Tyrese Halliburton can get it done here for us for our second official play of the day. Tyrese Halliburton over 31.5 points plus assists here versus Charlotte, minus 120 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, as of right now, as I mentioned, we're probably going to be adding one. But for right now, we're taking Jeremy Grant under 20.5 points here versus Toronto, minus 115 odds. Now, I know we are taking 2 unders on the day. Normally, I don't do something like that, but I do really like this under as well. He has gone under in 6 out of his last 10 games, so he has been pretty profitable to this line. And on the season, Toronto has been great defensively. We all know that. Toronto is just a tremendous defensive team, and they allow the 8th fewest points per game to opposing power forwards on the year. So that speaks a lot of volume to me. This Toronto team has had some injuries here recently, but the team is pretty much back to normal. I mean, as normal as it can be. They still have their starting 5 as of right now. And so he is going to see different looks between OG Anunoby, Scotty Barnes, and Pascal Siakam, and that is a really good defensive group to have on a guy like Jeremy Grant. It's going to make things very, very tough here for him. And Toronto does allow the 10th fewest points per game to opposing teams in the last 3 games, and the 11th fewest points per game on the season. So Toronto has been a very solid defense, as I had mentioned. They are also 8th in defensive efficiency in the last 3 games. They're starting to ramp things back up again and get back to the Toronto defense that we know and love. And I think this is a really tough spot for Jeremy Grant. I think that if there is any sort of a weak link on Toronto, it's going to be in that guard position. So I don't necessarily mind Damian Lillard or Anthony Simons over. I know Anthony Simons is set to like 19.5. I think that's pretty solid for sure. And I do like Dame too. His line dropped to like 26.5. So either one of those overs will be fine. But I just really do think this is a tough spot here for Jeremy Grant. So we're going to be riding with it for our third official play of the day. Jeremy Grant under 20.5 points here versus Toronto at minus 115 odds. Now we do have our consensus play. Yesterday it did not end up working out for us. I did end up taking the Mavericks, but most of my crew ended up taking the Pelicans. So, it is what it is. A loss is a loss. I'll always ride with my guys, as I said. But without any further ado, the consensus play of the day is going to be in the Cavs and the Suns game. Currently, the Suns are 4.5-point underdogs, and the main reason is just because there are a couple question marks here for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It does look like Garland and Mitchell are both listed as questionable. Ricky Rubio is also ruled out of this game. Not a huge loss, but just because we haven't seen him very much this year. But still, I mean, Garland and Mitchell, those are two huge pieces here to this Cleveland offense. And I think that it is going to be a pretty tough situation here. And for the Suns, they have a lot of injuries too. I mean, if you're taking a look at Devin Booker's listed as out, Cam Johnson's out, Cameron Payne's out, and CP3 is listed as questionable. So that's a lot of pieces too. But our crew does end up thinking that the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to get it done. All 5 of us are on the Cleveland Cavaliers as of right now. So that is the consensus play of the day. Cavs minus the 4.5 here. I think that they do travel to the Suns and end up getting it done. I think that overall you're looking at some of the role pieces for both these teams, and I just think that the Cavs can get it done. I really do, and I know that Mitchell's injury or whatever was because of rest, so I do think he ends up playing this game. So I really do like it here for our consensus play of the day. Cavs minus 4.5 here versus the Suns minus 110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are on the road to 11,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Sarah signing out. Peace.